Hi, this is Carol Wisney with Radio Free Decipher, coming to you on a very rainy Friday, Labor Day weekend. We're all preparing for hopefully 3 days off, and in the middle of a very busy period. The major summer cons are all over now, and I believe the regionals start this weekend. Is that correct, Kendrick?
Yeah, I think we may have actually had a series last weekend, but this is really the kickoff. I know Bruce has just left the building to go to Dallas and then Sacramento, I believe.
Great. Well, all of you guys out there who qualified and who are about to sharpen your decks ready for combat, then we're looking forward to seeing 50 of you, is it? 20? No. How many have we got coming to the championship?
I believe it's going to be a total of 60, 30 and 30.
30 and 30. So a small field this year, but a very highly selected one. I've pulled Kendrick to the mic this morning because I want him to talk quite a lot more about DecipherCon. I guess any of you who've been to the website have seen that we're getting ready now for DecipherCon, which is the weekend of 11th to the 14th. So, Kendrick, tell us what you can about how the plans are shaping up.
Okay, well, Carol's right, 11 to 14 November here in Virginia Beach, Virginia at the Cavalier Hotel. If any of you all remember last year's event and the live broadcast we had from there, or if you happen to make it by, then you know that that's where the event will be for this year. We have pretty much sequestered the entire hotel for gaming areas and seminars and all the things that we plan on doing. At this point, we are ready to put up information about registration for the con, so check the web, and if you're interested in buying passes, you can get on there and do so at that time. We also have information about hotel registration, and you can get some bennies by giving us your hotel confirmation number when you register, and check that out. The information's all there for you. And very shortly we'll have an event schedule up. I've got a spreadsheet 4 pages long of events that are just a drop in the bucket of what we want to do. So when we get that event schedule up, I'm sure it's going to open some eyes wide. And we're working with the PD guys now to come up with maybe a couple of new tournament format twists for those of you who are into some of the on-the-edge tournament styles, but rest assured that we're going to have plenty of sealed deck formats and maybe a few new products to show off. We're keeping our fingers crossed. Carol, really, it's up to you where we draw the line as far as what I can tell them about tournament formats, so maybe I'll pass that one back to you, and you just you let me know.
Well, I have yet to see the event schedule, but what I do know is that we aim to have 24-hour gaming. Is that correct? For those night birds?
That is correct.
For night owls that want to stay up, obviously we'll be heavily featuring all of our core CCGs and very much Young Jedi. It'll be a wonderful weekend for play for Young Jedi. Jedi Council will have been out in the environment for a while, so we're exploring a lot of formats that give players interesting ways to mix both Menace of Darth Maul and Jedi Council, and I think you're going to be surprised at the amount of variety. We want to do a lot of fun events that challenge people to do more than just arrive with a couple of decks in their pockets. Mm-hmm. Some of those will be sealed, some of those will be pre-constructed, but as soon as we get details, they'll be up on the site, because I think it's going to be the biggest ever challenge for people to build an arsenal and bring with them.
Mm-hmm. You're going to need more than just your Anthology box for this weekend. We want to offer you something that you're going to be able to take back home with you and turn the people in your community on. It's an opportunity for us to expose you all to something that maybe you don't normally get at home, so it gives you some incentive to come down and spend the weekend with us. We definitely have keeping you busy in mind.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be the major events, the spectator events of the World Championships. There's also going to be some World Championship level Young Jedi events and World Championship level team events that you don't have to pre-qualify for, but are going to be at the highest level, as well as an awful lot of fun ones where it doesn't really matter if you win or not. One of the ideas we're exploring is Weekend League. In other words, every event that you play in over the weekend contributes in some way to a running total, so that at the end of the weekend you can get some kind of special prize, and we've got an awful lot of ideas. It really is going to be an amazing celebration of Decipher's games.
One of the things that I've been twisting your arm for, Carol, is the ability to open the floodgates up a little bit on the prizes that we're offering now. We feel pretty good about the prize structure that we have for our existing games, and as some of you may know, we are adding some prizes to the Young Jedi tournament scene. But what we want to do at DecipherCon is offer you all something that you wouldn't normally get otherwise as well. So we're putting together a package right now. We're attaching some prizes to all of those individual events, and we'll have that info up on the web as well. So not only will you be able to see the schedule itself, you'll also be able to see what you can win if you take the opportunity to enter into any of those events. And of course, the World Championship events will have all of the normal prizes and stuff attached to those. But for those of you that aren't competing in any of our World Championship events, there's going to be plenty there for you too.
Some special trophies, I hope, because I pride ourselves on the quality of the trophies that we give, and my favorite is the team trophy. I love that trophy.
Indeed. We're probably going to take a few Digicam shots of some of the new trophies that we have to offer for the weekend. So between now and Ground Zero, just before the convention itself, you'll be able to look at a number of the different prizes that we'll be offering, including those team trophies, which are going to be really cool.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about new products later in this broadcast, but I just want to let you know that the things that we hope will be available at DecipherCon in some way or other, I mean, it may be that we can just show some early stuff. Hopefully we'll be able to pre-release some of the new products, do pre-release tournaments, and some of them may have just come out, so they'll be being mixed into the environment at the event. I think you saw on the web that we announced the second anthology for Star Trek, and given that that weekend just about coincides with the 5th anniversary of the launch of that game, then we're really going great guns to get that second anthology out as a celebration product. So that should be on the street just about that weekend.
Yeah, what we would like to do is get some support from all of you out there in order to ensure that we have plenty of new stuff and fun stuff available. So what we need is your energetic and supportive emails sent directly to... just kidding. We're working as hard as we can, so hang in there with us, and of course we will have updates for you on all that stuff.
So I'm going to be talking to Evan a little bit later about second anthology, because we're very excited. We love our anthology products, and particularly one that's so timely. The other Star Trek product that should be available, at least in pre-release form, at DecipherCon is the new expansion rules of acquisition, which, as a Ferengi fan, I'm very excited about. I think it's going to be a fun expansion. It's always nice to add a new affiliation, and our absolute hope is that we have some product available to pre-release. It won't be on the streets by then, but we're definitely aiming to get some at the con, and hopefully in enough quantities for you to be able to play with and explore. So that's for Star Trek. For Star Wars, you'll be seeing announcements on the web in the next day or two that definitely Enhanced Cloud City will be available, and I'm going to have a brief chat with Justin a little later in the broadcast about that product.
Everybody's going to want to stick around for that, because both of those guys have got some juicy tidbits about those card sets, so stick around.
So we'll be looking for innovative and creative formats to bring the Enhanced Cloud City and see some variety of play. Of course, Endor is still very, very big news out there in the tournament environment. I hear a lot about it, and so still is Special Edition. It's amazing that the size of that set was so great that there are still new strategies being discovered and explored, and it'll be interesting to watch the mix of those two over the regional weeks, over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I think Justin's work with the community itself, as well as product development and the rules committee, to level out some of the abusive strategies that have come along have really opened the doors up for a lot of those cards that, quite frankly, I think were dismissed early on as non-usable or not really functional in a tournament level deck. So our hats go off to Justin, and I'm sure that you all are supporting him in those current rulings documents, which, by the way, should be posted and ready for you all this weekend. So go check that out before those regional tournaments. There are a couple of pretty important issues for your tournament decks this weekend, so be sure to check those out.
And I'll talk to Justin about that when I talk to him, so that he can outline that over this broadcast anyway. And so that's Star Trek and Star Wars. Now, Young Jedi, of course, Jedi Council will be out there. Our projected release date is middle of October for that. There has been some slippage on the production schedule, mostly due to the availability of resources. I mean, what you guys probably don't realize is that we were developing all our classic stuff 20 years after the film came out, so there was no problem getting those resources, but the Phantom Menace only came out in May, and the film was not available to us at that time. Only we had to just basically tell them what we wanted for Menace of Darth Maul, And for Jedi Council, we had quite a long wait to get the resources we needed. So that's why that product has slipped. But as an avid young Jedi player, I cannot wait to get my hands. I've been lucky enough to see some of the cards from Jedi Council.
Blue cards.
Yeah, at long last, some really good blue cards. And I have to say that the image of the new Darth Maul is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool out there on the table.
I can't wait to... I don't use Darth Maul in any of my young Jedi decks at the moment, but that's going to change. So we'll definitely see an awful lot of young Jedi stuff. The nice thing about young Jedi tournaments is that we can run many, many, many of them because they can be so short, and should give anybody who wants to play that game more opportunities than they could possibly dream of. So, and of course, you know, with the privilege of position, I'll probably be there more as a player than anything else. So sorry about that, Kendrick. You can run the con, and I'm just going to be there as a player.
My hair is getting grayer and grayer with all the tournaments we're adding to the schedule. I'm going to tell you, it's big.
Can we tell people how much the con's going to be for entrance?
Yeah, that's information that's getting ready to go up on the registration area for DecipherCon. What we've done is we've gotten some good rates with the hotel. If you register or make reservations at the hotel at the Cavalier before September 30th, you get a 10% break on the cost of your hotel room. Check out the website. There's details up there on that. With your pre-registration at the hotel, you'll also receive a free pass into the con, and any additional passes that you want to pay for are going to be $10, and that is up to October 31st. So even if you don't get a room at the hotel, which we are encouraging, your passes will be $10, and that's a full weekend pass. So you get a pretty good value there getting into the show. Now, if you come to the door and haven't registered on the website, the passes are going to cost you $20 for the weekend. We are going to be offering one-day passes to the show, and I believe those are $10 as well. So there's a good incentive there to spend the weekend with us, and the hotel is a great place to stay while you're at the convention, and of course it's right there. So all you have to do is get your 2 hours of sleep, wake up in the morning, have some toast, and come right down to the tournament area, and there you are.
Good. Well, I'm really looking forward to that weekend. It's going to be great. And of course, you know, not to detract from the fact that both World Championships will take place that weekend.
Yeah, that's a huge part of the event. We are going to cater to the World Championship players in every way that we've catered to them before. What we're doing is not only are we offering them an opportunity to relax and do some other things surrounding their events, but we're offering everybody else that comes and supports them and wants to see our games an opportunity to do everything else as well. So everybody's just going to be busy playing games, and really that's what we want to see.
Well, that's fun, and I'm looking forward to it. Well, thanks, Kendrick. We'll get that stuff up on the website. We do encourage you to pre-register. The more we know about numbers coming, the better our event schedule's going to be. And we'll be talking about it again in the upcoming weeks. Oh, you know what? I didn't mention, of course, our new CCG, our fun, light-hearted, totally different from our current CCGs. Austin Powers should be premiering that weekend as well.
Speaking of the Austin Powers CCG, just wanted to let all of you know that we are indeed going to have Felicity Shagwell's 65 Corvette Stingray down there at the show. And that would lead right into Carol telling a little bit about the game and about some of the development process. We had a lot of fun yesterday, so take that away.
Well, we've been doing final play testing on Austin Powers. Austin Powers is a totally different kind of CCG. Although you can play two-player, and two-player is fun and fast, and you actually tend to play a series of very, very quick games for a cumulative score, Austin Powers really comes alive in the multiplayer format, and that was our intention because it's such a social phenomenon. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and beyond players can have a gas playing that game. I'm not going to tell you too much about the game at this moment because I think it would be a little premature. We don't have any approval on anything yet, but all I can tell you is that if you like Austin Powers and you want to see a CCG that 100% captures the flavor of the movie, then this is it. And if you want to play a CCG that is multiplayer and fast and furious without too much deep strategy, then this is also it. It's very easy deck building, great fun deck building so that you probably will build yourself a dozen or so different kinds of decks to play. And the game itself is just great. Kendrick, you were there at the play test yesterday.
Yeah, we sat down upstairs trying to go over a couple of the final strategies and overall strategy design, and just sat up there and played and laughed and had fun. And it's kind of a new process because we get to enjoy what we're doing rather than scratching our heads and writing notes and things like that. So the process has been a lot of fun, seeing it come from that first day when we came up with a basic design to where it is now. So we just have been having a lot of fun with it, and the 2-player games were just as fun as the 5- and 6-player games we were running, and the multiplayer is what is really fun for me because you get that many more people involved, and it's a social game, so that's what we designed it around.
And although we're not planning a huge and heavy tournament scene for Austin Powers because it's not that kind of game, we will be running fun tournaments at DecipherCon with team events. Kendrick calls them Shagfests. So those of you who are Austin Powers fans, you might want to pack your velvet suit. We might even have some dress up.
Oh, behave.
Okay, well, I'm going to move on now and talk with Evan about second anthology. So thanks for being with us, Kendrick.
Thanks, Carol. I'm off to work on that event schedule for DecipherCon.
Great. Well, I'm here with Evan now, dragged him away from his Austin Powers editing, and Evan, put your Star Trek hat back on. I'm sure you want to.
I would be glad to put my Star Trek hat back on this morning.
Good, and we talked a little bit about second anthology when we were talking about DecipherCon.
Ooh, good stuff.
And the fact that it is the 5th anniversary.
Yes, indeed. It'll be coming out in November, which is the 5th anniversary of the Star Trek card game.
Do you know the date?
Not exactly yet. We're hoping to have it right around in time for the con.
Yeah,
so that should be very exciting.
Excellent. We can't really say much, but I believe we've announced that this anthology is going to have 6 premiums in it.
Yes, premiums as opposed to previews. These will be black border cards, not white border, and they will only be available in this second anthology.
Great. And what's the rest of the product that's in there?
It's going to include a mix of cards, earlier products. We're going to have 2 starter deck 2s in it, as well as 2 boosters of First Contact, 2 boosters of Deep Space Nine, and 2 of the Dominion. So it'll be a nice sampling of everything coming up, everything that we've had since basically the refacing of the game a few years ago.
And I guess you probably know the 6 cards.
I sure do know the 6 cards. I've definitely, I'm going to be looking forward to using some of them.
Great. And we've announced, or we've leaked one. I certainly saw people talking about something. So
yes, indeed. The ambassadors kind of got a little bit of a sneak peek from Marcus. Title only, but we've revealed what the Romulan card in the anthology is.
And that is?
That would be Caval from a 7th season episode of Deep Space Nine, the one with the Latin title, Inter Arma Enim Salant Legis. That he is the lead, the head of the Tal Shiar. So Romulan fans are definitely going to get a big boost there. You can expect that it'll have some cool effects working with your Tal Shiar personnel.
Excellent.
Oh, yes.
Good. Well, I often hear complaints from the Romulan favoring players, so...
Well, I can't imagine why. They're going to have a sweet deal here.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. Well, we really can't say much more at this stage. We're a couple of months away from this product more, actually, so... At some point, I'm sure I'll be able to, get out of Evan some of the other cards. But for the time being, we're going to leave it
My
at
lips
Koval.
are sealed.
And thanks, Evan, for talking to us.
Sure, no problem.
Well, for my final little piece on today's Radio Free, I've managed to find the Jedi Knight and drag him away from the current rulings. And that's, of course, for those of you who don't know, is Justin. Hi, Juz.
How are we doing, Carol?
Great, and this is the 2 foreigners on the mic, by the way. This is where the colonials, no, not the colonials, the colonists start talking. I'm going to talk a little bit about Enhanced Cloud City, but first, before I do that, I just want to talk about the current rulings document. Has that now gone up, Juz?
It has gone up. There's a PDF version up, and the text version will be up during the day.
And that's, tell us the major things in that for this weekend.
Well, actually, I did send out to squadrons and the discussion list a discussion so that the people for the regional this weekend are definitely up to date on the major points. There's a few major points, for example, playing cards when you've got an empty reserve deck or trying to target an empty hand, a couple of game balance, things like that. Also, some clarifications of things which people have generally known for a long time but have never really had written down anywhere.
No major, absolute major changes?
It probably depends on your point of view as a player. So, I mean, if I was playing a a wire and server-based deck, you might find that that's not as useful as it used to be due to the clarification of taking cards in the hand by card title. But if I wasn't, I probably would think there was no major changes.
Okay, cool. Well, we're running out of time, so I just want to touch on Enhanced Cloud City. We've announced a couple of the cards to our volunteers, and that might have got to the discussion list. So Enhanced Cloud City will be out before DecipherCon, and like our enhanced products, it will be a combination of some Cloud City booster packs and some brand new and very, very unique cards. Tell us about the two that we've mentioned.
The two that have gone out and been mentioned to a few of our volunteers, two of our more unique pilots in their Starship cards. One is the Irrepressible Boba Fett in Slave 1, which is a nice little card, and the other is probably only the second time, it is only the second time we've released the Millennium Falcon, and it's actually the original owner, Lando, in the Millennium Falcon. Great.
Can you tell me anything about the stuff on those cards?
It's probably worth noting that I think out of all the cards we brought out with unique pilots in their starships, which would be Bosk in Houndstooth and the Rebel Leader cards, these are probably the first ones with immunity.
Ah, right. So you think they'll see a lot of play?
They are in my decks.
And I know there was one further card from the new cards for Enhanced Cloud City that you really want to mention today, because as a player, as an avid player, you feel that the verb cards or the effect cards are very, very important. So tell us about the one that you want to talk about.
Well, I know it's so easy to be distracted by the pretty pictures on all the character and Starship cards, but I got to admit one of my favourite cards from this little product is a dark side effect called Crush the Rebellion, and that will be a very good environment card for the dark side.
Okay, so do you prefer to play dark side, or?
I do, but some people say that's just me.
Well, we're excited about Enhanced Cloud City, and some of the other products. Enhanced Cloud City will be very much featured at DecipherCon because it's coming out just before then. And thanks for talking to us about it, Juz. And before I sign off, I just want to mention that the Sean Valdez auction is running until September the 9th. There are some amazing articles on there. The prime article, of course, is the Harrison Ford signed card, which I personally would love to own, but I think I've been way outbid.
Yeah, my bank manager had a word to me about that, so I had to step away also.
I know. That's been in my keeping for a number of months, hidden away since we managed to get Mr. Ford to sign it, and I will be very sad to see it go. But some of the other items are definitely worth bidding on, and there are still some cool stuff there, and even stuff being added, and we'll probably be adding stuff at the beginning of next week. So do keep going there and checking it out. And congratulations to everybody who ran or played in the Sean Valdez tournament. Although we didn't have so many this year, the amount of money raised at the ones that happened was enormous. So thanks for all of you with deep pockets. This is a great cause, and Sean Valdez has become very much a mascot for us. We look forward every year. I did not do too well in the Sean Valdez tournament I played in. We had a small tournament. We had another event going on that weekend for our game, so we managed to fit in a small Sean Valdez tournament with some local players, and I only went 2-2. My light side deck didn't work too well for me, so I'm going to have to rebuild that before I do all my playing at DecipherCon. But, anyway, that's all for today, guys, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again next week. And before I sign off completely, I have a dedication for Joshua Lannock, who was the winner of the Young Jedi Sean Valdez tournament here at Virginia Beach. I promised I would mention him on Radio Free. I enjoyed playing against him. He beat me, of course, and went on to win the tournament. So hello to Joshua, and I have that prize for you, and I'll be sending it to you next week. Bye.